Yes guys, I'm back. I'm back with another one, and today we're going to be looking at BTC. All this choppiness has been going on with BTC, so we'll have a little look at that. We're also going to be looking at USDT dominance, have a little look at BTC dominance, and we'll have a little look at ETH dominance as well. We'll also take a look at ETH, XRP, and a few other coins as well, guys. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So I'm on the 30-minute chart of BTC, and I'm gonna have a little look at that, see what's going on with it. So yeah, I'm having a little look at BTC here. I think in my last video I did point out that BTC was going to come down to test the 115k area, which had a big buy sat in this zone here. I've had to change my charts as well. For some reason my Binance charts are not working, so I've had to change it to Bybit. But I think, to be honest with you, it's pretty similar. Still got, you know, a decent amount of volume. I can still see the CVD, I can still see the open interest. So yeah, I had that pointed out at around 115k, and from that zone it has eventually gone up 5%. If we go to my trading view chart, I've got, you know, that this area here is a potential sell area. You can see how many times it keeps testing that area, and this area here is a buy area, which has worked out perfectly every single time. The only thing that I've been looking at really, and that, you know, in my personal opinion, I think we could end up eventually, and don't get me wrong, we're still bullish. If we get a candle to close like that below there, and then we get a little weak retracement like so, then, you know, I really do think that we're going to come back down towards that area, and the 110k area. So if we go back into the BTC chart here, I've got between 111 and 108, this area here, as a potential retracement area back towards, let me just take them off 1 second, back towards this VPOC area here, because this volume POC here, or virgin POC, whichever, you know, you can use whichever, there's so many terms, it's not being tested. And generally what you will see is, you know, we all know that markets like to be efficient. That at some point is going to be tested. Everybody's bullish. All you sausages on other YouTube channels like BTC still 150k, BTC to this, BTC to that, blah 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 blah. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to say it is or it isn't, but like I said, I think it was last week, I was saying in the group, if we do not get a decent candle close, I think that's last week's value area low, below that value area low, then it's invalidated. So if you have a little look, and it was the same here as well. Look, every time it's come to that value area low, it's been bought back up, back in, bought back up. Same on the next week. It came back to that value area low. There was clearly a load of people sat there buying BTC at 116k, which I think personally is moronic, but yeah, well, whatever they want to do. When you could have bought BTC, I think it was, I don't know, it's about 2 years ago now, and you could have got it at 20k. And now all of a sudden, everybody wants to buy it at 116k. I don't know, we're in a crazy world at the minute. So I had that value area low there from the previous week, and I said if we're not getting a decent candle close below there this week, then yeah, we're probably going to push back up towards this area here, which we did. So if you have a little look at that value area low there, once it dropped through that value area low, look at where it retested and dropped again. It hit the same value area low, dropped again, came through, rejected, but then eventually pop. And then it went through and went all the way up to nearly 120k. So that for me, we're going to have a flush out either way. We're either going to come up here, flush all that, and then eventually come back down and flush all this. There's going to be a flush, because funding rates will be getting high again. People will be, FOMOing in. Like, oh, I need to buy. And then they're going to end up getting wrecked again, which is not unusual. I've seen it all before. It's just one of them that people just cannot wait for the levels. I will wait for these levels. I've got another level here. That's a daily untested point of control. And then I've got another major level here at around 94.5 that could really flush all these people out here that have not bought, that have not sold the BTC up at the top. This here, I think it's because I were on the Binance chart, so I can alter that slightly, and it'll be around, let me have a little look. It's about the same, it's around that area. And I don't think we've got any more that have been untested. Oh no, we have. We've got another one at 84 that's been untested. And then we've got another one around 78, it's around that area. 77k. That's another one that's been untested as it took off. So for it to be efficient, what you really want to see is you want to see it take them areas. You want to see it tag these areas and then have a bounce, tag, and bounce. That's what you want to see with BTC. You don't just want to see, this sort of range that's going on at the minute. We can measure that range. Let's measure the range. This range has been going on for 18 days. And at some point, the range is going to break. I can't say definitively which way the range is going to break, because I ain't got a crystal ball. But what I can say is, it will break eventually, one way or another. The range is going to break. So if we have a little look at this range here before it broke, when my PC stops being a sausage, that were another 62-day range there. So we might have a lot longer in this range than what people think. If that were a 62-day range, we've been in it 18 days at the minute. A 62-day range, it's going to take us through probably mid-August, September time before we have a little bit more of a bullish move up. That's my personal opinion on it. You don't have to believe me. I'm just a guy that reads charts. USDT dominance daily. I'm looking at this move here. I push back into there, and that will take us into around about August. Been ranging in this for a while now. what we're 14 days in. That'll be 24 days. Around 60 days will be September time. That's when we could end up with another nice flush out in USDT dominance. That's my personal play, what I'm looking at. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll go back to that in the next video. BTC dominance, when it loads, I'm expecting that sort of move there. And I'm not saying it's going to play out to the T, do you know what I mean? But that's 20 days. Where's September? You know, there's a potential of that sort of move happening before we do come back into here. And don't expect it just to, you know, it's not just going to fall through. You know, we're going to have something like this, and then it'll drop, and then it'll come back, do a little move, and then drop again. Until then, not really. I was looking at that previously in BTC dominance. I thought we were going to get that sort of move because it kept grinding up. You know, that move could still happen, and alts could get absolutely smashed to bits. But I think I was like nearly 2% off of expecting that before the drop. Come on, you got to give me my dues there a little bit. That, you know, I was 2% off before it eventually did start to decline, and it's finally done, you know, an 8% drop from that area. So I wasn't far off it, what I really, if you look at it in that sort of situation. What else are we going to have a little look at? If this gets back up above here, which I don't think it will, I do think it's going to come down into here. Personally, I do think it's going to come back down to test this same area again. Expect a bounce here. Expect a bounce at around 3.8 and 3.7. Expect a bounce, because it probably is going to bounce from that zone. And we may come back up into here, retest, come back down, retest, and then eventually fall through. Or we're going to break through and we're going to go up. You know, you generally get 1, 2 test, bang. 1, 2, possibly a third test, and then bang. In this zone here, we had 1, 2, 3, drop, push through, 1, 2, push through, 1, 2, push, and then the same again. You know, it generally happens all the time. BTC at the minute, just from my personal opinion, I don't really, you know, I really want to see a clean breakthrough here. I want to see a clean break, a candle close, and then a test. So around 116k, you know, below last week's value area low, could be the potential to then come back down towards this zone here, which is an untested zone at around 110k. That would be a lovely move. You know, everybody's going to be like, the bull market's over, blah, 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 blah. Because you know what people like, that's what people do. You know, and it's very similar to what's going on right now at the minute. Very, very similar to what's going on right now at the minute. You know, and it'll come back down and it'll retest this zone here. So yeah, like I was saying with BTC, I can't remember where I was now because I ended up getting a phone call and I've completely missed where I was. So anyways, I'm looking at BTC, like I say, and I really want to see a clean candle close below here. I probably already said that, but I want to see a clean candle close below here before I can take a nice little short in BTC. So BTC here, we're coming down towards this zone where we're going to potentially get a bullish reaction. We might come back up into here, test, and then start to fall away. Excuse me. That's what I'm looking at the minute. That's what I'm looking at. We will come back and revisit it. I will do another video. I'm going to try and get 2 videos out per day. Per day. What am I going on about? Per week. I'm going to try and get 2 videos out per week. Just to try and give you a little bit more on the channel. You know, I got a face cam for a reason, so people can start to interact with me a little bit more, see my face expressions and whatever else, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at in BTC. Right, ETH. Let's have a little look at ETH. Right, ETH. It's took a shit at the minute. It really has took a shit. I told people in the group, you're going to be longing from around this zone here, which did pay off. You know, you ended up with a decent little move from there. You know, it was about 2-3% move. At the minute, it's coming back down. So I'm having a little look, and that's last week's value area low. This is last week's value area high. Same with ETH. I really want to see a decent close below this repoc here. And then it could potentially flush. This is going to give you then, look, we've got another VPOC here, another untested VPOC at around 3k. I'll mark that out because that's going to be another significant area for me. I'm going to lock that in at 3044. Right. Next one. Have we got any more? That's tested. So a lot of these have been tested at the minute. There's another untested one there. Lock that in. 1794. I don't think we're going to go that low. But you never know. It's crypto, and we all know crypto is very, very volatile. That could just be one candle that goes all the way down there. I don't really want to see that. I'd love to see it come into here, into this zone here. You know, reject, close, and then flush down into this zone here at 3044. Fill all the gaps that it's made, have a bullish reaction, and then we can go again. Everybody thinks it's just going to go. And I understand the mindset, but what you've got to realise is people are not going to be the ones holding the bags of dicks this time round. They're not going to be. That's what they were last time. In the last bull run, they was literally holding these bags of sausages, we'll say. They were holding them, and they had to hold them all the way through here. Do you think they're going to keep hold of them now? They're not going to keep hold of them. They're going to sell them. They're going to be like, that. I'm selling, I've made my money back, or I'm back at break even, and I'm out. That's what's going to happen. You know, as we know, a lot of institutions are buying Bitcoin and they're buying Ethereum, and I get it. But you know what? You know, I can go to S&P 500 to, you know, analyse that right quickly while we're here. We might as well. And we can have a little look at the S&P 500. You know, we're going to go to the weekly. Let's go to the weekly. Look, I had that pointed out in S&P 500 as well. And we're not far off it at the minute. Yeah, it didn't, you know, it came down a little bit further than what I thought, but I did have this area marked out. It came down a little bit further, reclaimed. And after that, everybody panic bought here. I'll tell you right now, everybody absolutely panic bought. They were like, we need that. And that's a 30% move in the S&P 500 from April to July. April, May, June, July. 4 months, that's moved 30%. So it can happen. And, you know, look at the dump. That's a 20% drop there. So I'm just going to go through it a little bit. So we always get these little like 20-30% drops in the S&P 500. and it always happens. That were in January. That was in February 20. That started in December 21. Let's go and have a little... We're having a little bit of an history lesson here, guys. To just let you know that don't buy the tops. That was a 50% correction, and that was in October 07. A 50% correction. Do you know what? Through all this, genuinely, BTC has not experienced anything like that. Never. Look, 50% drop. 50% drop. And that started in October 07. And well, BTC, I can't remember when BTC was actually, when it came out. I think BTC came out in, what, 08? 08, I think. I can't guarantee that, but I think it was 08. Yeah, I really do think it was 08. But that's my prediction there. You know, I think at some point we're going to have a major. You know, the biggest ones have been 50%. So even if we do a 50% drop from there, you know, you're looking at that, and I'll be loading up there. I can almost guarantee you I will be loading up there. I'm not loading up here. I'll be loading up down there. That's USDT dominance. I'm just pointing stuff out to you because everybody thinks, you know, it's just going to keep going. It's just going to keep going and going and going. And then you're going to be the one that's holding the shit. You know, it's like gold. Back in 2011, gold had a 45% correction. In, what's that? 2020, it had another 21% correction. And from there, gold has gone up 15%. But even gold, when it peaks, it looks like it's peaked. I know this is a very long time ago in 1979, but it had a 67% correction. And what you've got to think is, you know, when these are having these sort of corrections, so 67% there, that were around a 45% correction there. You know, if you average it out, say it has a 35% correction, you know, you're looking at around 2 bags, which is another untested area here, about 2 grand for gold. So they're gonna, you know, some of these are gonna correct at some point. You know, silver, I told everybody with silver, buy some silver here, and it's gone up 50% since I said buy some silver. Probably not a lot of people did buy some silver, but what I am saying to you is, you know, I give you these options and I'm showing you these things for a reason, so you can see that, yeah, it probably is time to buy this, it probably is time to buy that. And if we look, where are we now? Where are we now in the total market cap, excluding BTC? We are at a zone where we have rejected from 1, 2, 3, and is this the 4th rejection? possibly all the other sausages are like, oh, it's going to break out, it's going to break out. And I'm not saying that, it's not going to, it might, but people are not going to be the ones holding this bag of crap anymore. If you get 74% correction, that's going to really, really hurt the market. But genuinely, people don't want to be holding these bags of crap anymore, and they're like, I'm not being that guy. And that's why you're seeing the market doing what it's doing at the minute. Because they've been there and they've done it, and they're like, no, not this time, thank you. So that's what I think's going to go on. I think we're possibly going to come down here and test some of these areas. BTC, when it wants to load up. Computer, I'm going to invest in a new computer. I don't want to because I built this myself, but these areas are untested. These institutions are going to want these areas to be tested. So then everybody's going to be like, I'm out. I'm never trading crypto again. Yeah. It might do a 10% drop. If it does the big drop to 84, that'll be another 28% correction, which is normal. Which is absolutely normal. 28, that's probably going to be about a 32% correction. It's not off the cards. If we start to close below these value area lows though, I will tell you now, we're going to start to correct towards these areas that are very inefficient at the minute. XRP having a decent bullish reaction here at the minute. CVD's dropping, getting a little bit weaker. If you have a little look there, price there, yeah, it's correlating. So I probably won't, but XRP is going to be another one. We've got a lot of untested POCs down in these zones. Sui. Oh, we'll do Sol. We'll do Sol right quick, and then I'm gonna have to get off. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Sui. We're at the value area low this week. That's last week's value area low. If we flush hard through that zone, then there is a potential that we are going to come and test some of these areas that have been untested. 143 is a zone that I really want to start loading up on Sol. I'm just going to have a little look at this Vine chart because I got this little short that I want to take on Vine here around this zone, and I want to be targeting that POC there that's not been tested yet. I'll close most of my trade down in here. Excuse me. What else have we got? CFX here, I think I called it around there. I didn't really like the look of it, so I closed mine at break even. But a lot of the people in the group didn't, and 20%. I still think it's got a possibility to come and test some of these areas here. I really do think there's a possibility of it testing some of these areas here. But anyways, that's going to be it from me. I'm going to get out. I've got some things to do. I will try and get another video at the end of this week. I don't know when, can't really say. Possibly Thursday, Friday, I'll try and get another video out for you. I'll update everything, what I've shown you today, and we'll go back through it, see if I were right, see if I were wrong. Like I say, most of the time I've not been wrong. There's only one thing that I was wrong about, and I said that in my last video, and I'm not going to hide away from it. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it with people, get me some more subs. I want to try and get to that 1,000 mark. That'd be really good for me. If I can start getting up to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, I'll start doing some giveaways. I don't know, I'll give away a mic or something like that, you know, just random things, a joypad, a mic, a mouse, I don't know. And we'll get into that sort of situation once I hit them sort of like subscribers that I want. So yeah, don't forget all my links in the description below. You know, the links, click them, come and have a little look at what we're doing over there. And it's going to be a bit of a different one because most of my links are going to be changing. My personal links are going to stay with me, but you know, we are upgrading to a new platform. I will put them links in, and I will be getting another video out on I think it's the 4th of August that we're actually going to start to transfer over to that new platform, and I will get a video out. It'll be a welcome video, you know, all come and join us. Come and check us out in there. You know, we're winning. You know, most of these guys in this group that you can see, you know, chatting here, you know, they're winning. You know, 99% of them are winning. So, yeah, get you sent over. Right, I'm going to get off, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Happy trading.